Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Carol.
If lawmakers pass a measure that includes $500 million to arm the Syrian rebels, could that be considered a war vote?
Well, I don't think it's a war vote per se. It's a vote to combat a terrorist organization named ISIS, whom I believe, if we did nothing, would eventually strike our homeland the way al-Qaeda did on September 11th, 2001. So I think this is something that Congress needs to do. It's not something we like, but we are elected to have responsibilities, and this is the day of reckoning.
Well, you know what a lot of Americans think, that, see, you don't even call this a war vote, but a lot of people think Congress or lawmakers should pony up and say, yeah, we're going to war with ISIS and we're for it and we're going to vote for it.
Well, I think that's what this is. If we're arming and training the Syrian rebels, ISIS is now obliterating the border between Syria and Iraq, and so you can't fight ISIS in Iraq and not do it in Syria as well. The president needs the authority of Congress to do this. The president takes the position that he doesn't need any more authority to go into Iraq because he already has that. That's a debate. But I think the president is right in doing this. I think the Free Syria Army are the people who want to see democracy come to Syria. And if we don't want American boots on the ground, we've got to train others to have boots on the ground. We have the Iraqis, we have the Kurds, and if we train the moderate Syrians, they can be our allies on the ground.
Do you trust those moderate Syrians? Do you trust them completely, 100%?
Well, I don't trust them completely. I don't trust anybody completely when it comes to that region of the world, and it comes to
So we're giving $500 million to people you don't quite trust? I assume you're going to vote yes on the bill.
Well, I am voting yes. Look, there are only bad choices left in Syria and Iraq. But for me, the worst choice of all would be to do nothing. When we allowed the Taliban to have give al-Qaeda safe haven in Afghanistan, we got September 11th in return. If we allow Iraq and Syria to turn into a safe haven for these IS terrorists, these ISIS terrorists, we'll have more attacks on the U.S. homeland. That's why I believe it's in the U.S. national interest to get at these guys. They're bad guys. They're terrorists. It's the same to me whether it's ISIS or ISIL or IS or Hamas or Hezbollah or al-Qaeda. They're all terrorists that want to use terror to achieve political ends, and that's a direct threat to the U.S. homeland.
And I think everyone would agree with you on that point. But when you hear things from lawmakers like, we got to do something, it's unsettling. It's like it's better than doing nothing, so we'll vote for $500 million and we'll arm these Syrian rebels that no one quite trusts.
No, I've been talking about arming the Syrian rebels for 2 years. I put in a bill a year and a half ago to do that. I think we should have been doing it, quite frankly, for the past couple of years. This was a plan that Hillary Clinton and Leon Panetta and General Petraeus and Gates came up with. We should have been doing this. But you know what? Better late than never. We didn't do it, and so ISIS moved into the void. Now it's a chance to rout ISIS. I don't think we have a choice. Nobody likes to do this, but I really believe the responsible vote and the right vote is to vote yes.
Another question for you about this $500 million. This most assuredly is just an initial payment, because if you consider this, since June, that's less than a 3-month period, the United States spent $560 million on military operations in Iraq alone. So I would say many Americans are wondering how much this coming conflict is going to cost us.
Well, let me just say, this cannot be a conflict that's fought by the United States alone. This has to be a coalition, and the president has assured us that he's assembling a coalition. The Arab states have to participate in this. This cannot be simply another Western attempt for regime change in another Middle East country. So I think it's very, very important that we do that. I think this is not going to be like an occupation of Iraq that we saw, that many of us are disillusioned with. Look, the American people are war-weary, and so am I. But we saw those horrific beheadings of 2 Americans and 1 Brit. These are very bad guys, and it's not simply a matter of, well, it's over there, and we could put our head in the sand and kind of pretend it won't come here. They'll come here, and that's why we've got to stop them now. But it has to be a coalition. Again, this is not easy, but the worst thing, I think, would be to do nothing. We need to do something. The president is right.
All right, Congressman Engel, thank you so much for being with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you.